Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Fred Speaks. I pray this podcast finds you in the best of health and spirits. This is the continuation of our Fireside Chat series, which we will have discussion with various people about current topics. This episode is related to small business owners and how they are maintaining during the COVID-19 pandemic. We have a special guest for this episode. I would like to introduce someone I have a tremendous amount of respect for, who is a Christian man, loving husband, father of 4 sons, small business owner, and last but not least, an excellent barber with over 15 years of experience. Please welcome Mr. Tony Williams. Are you there, sir?
Yes, I am.
Man, I'm super excited that you're able to join today. So we'll go ahead and get right into it. As you're aware, this COVID-19 pandemic has affected a lot of people, especially businesses, large and small, throughout the country and the world as well. And it has been a challenge for numerous small businesses to maintain and find ways to stay afloat. And something that most people don't know is that small businesses make up 50% of the U.S. economy. So definitely an area that shouldn't be ignored. But I just want to start off by asking you how you're holding up, mentally and physically during this the pandemic.
Well, physically, thank God, I'm doing fine. Let me say thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate it. And physically, I'm doing fine. Thank God. In the midst of everything that's going on out here, I've managed to stay safe and healthy through this whole thing. So I'm glad about that. Mentally, well, it's an adjustment.
I hear that.
Yeah, when you're used to getting up every day and going to work, and then suddenly you're not, and it's an adjustment that you have to make. That's one thing. But I've just been trying to keep myself occupied, find something to do every day to be productive, in some form.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So would you consider yourself to be an introvert or an extrovert? So
I'm. It's funny. I'm kind of a mixture, actually. I come from a introverted parent and an extroverted parent, and I'm kind of in the middle.
in the middle. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I know how to come out, and I know how to go in too. So
Yeah, because I was thinking, I'm kind of I'm probably more on that the introverted side, and it's just been interesting from a mental standpoint how you know when we weren't in this pandemic situation, I wasn't really thinking about going places and
right,
I want to see this person or whatever. But since we've been in this, it's like now all of a sudden I want to go here and I want to go see this person and
right,
and I'm like, and which is totally out of character because I'm not usually trying to do all those things. So it's been interesting,
right.
from a mental standpoint.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same way. I would, if I had to classify myself, I would say I'm an introvert, but my business dealings make me have to be extroverted. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
I
So
understand.
yeah. So I I'm not I'm not so introverted that I don't know how to entertain people and, and things like that. Yeah.
Right.
So it is different, and I do miss my customers.
Right.
Yeah, because it keeps things interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what are some things you've been doing as a small business owner to maintain? And before we get into that, so can you tell us exactly what it is that you own and and how long have you been in ownership?
Yeah, I own a barbershop, Mr. Barber's Cuts and Styles. It's in Deltona, and I have had the shop as of the 10th of last month. It's 6 years now I've been in business, and I've been cutting hair for 18 years.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
That's great.
yeah.
So what are some things that you've been doing as a small business owner to kind of maintain from a financial standpoint during the pandemic?
Uh, well, the stimulus helped a lot. Um, the stimulus coming in that helped me to kind of get on top of the finances and things, and then having a good relationship with my landlord it doesn't help.
Oh,
That helps too. So,
right, right,
having communicated with her the situation, and and doing the best that I can, letting her know that when I'm able to, that I will fulfill the rest of the end of the deal.
right.
Yeah.
I understand. Okay. So had you during this time had to use like maybe business or personal savings to stay afloat, or was the stimulus pretty much what has helped you through this?
The stimulus and a little bit of my personal money too.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about, because I know you're a Christian man and everything. What about, praying and trusting in God? How does that play into all of this?
Oh, that is played heavily, heavily. I'm thankful for a leader that instilled faith in me, and prayer in me, and he told me it was going to be rough, but that God would see me through it, and as this has been going on, I have seen just that. I've seen how people have opened up their hearts, their wallets,
Right,
and actually show concern, uh, in trying to make sure that I'm okay,
right,
and a lot of times you don't feel like people have that personal connection with you, and through this all, I have seen where some of those ones were some of the main ones that was like, hey, I just want to make sure you're okay, calling, and things like that. So yes, prayer has been a big part of it. Just having faith, trusting God that it's gonna be okay. And even today, we just found out, like right before I got on the podcast with you, that I still can't reopen.
oh, okay,
Yeah, but uh, having already been through this 30 days already almost, and having seen how God has worked through the different situations,
yeah,
it gives me hope going into the next phase. No matter what's gonna happen, I know I can trust
right,
God in it.
okay.
Yeah,
That's great. That's great because it especially when you are going into territory you've never been in,
right,
it it does test your faith,
right, right,
and because the flesh automatically is like, I ain't never been here,
right.
so I don't I don't know how this gonna turn out.
Yeah,
So you really have to trust in God that He'll see you through. So
yeah,
so I'm sorry to hear that you still got to stay closed for a while, but you've been through it,
yeah,
and so
yeah.
so you kind of know what you're dealing with.
Yeah, I told my wife, I
Yeah.
said, you got to deal with me another few weeks at least.
Yeah. So what about I've been seeing these like different social media campaigns and different individuals reaching out to Facebook friends and followers and then even their customers. Have you done something like that, or has people kind of reached out to you and said, "Hey, why don't you do this?"
No, I haven't. I haven't. It wasn't something that I really was too insightful about doing, but it may be something that I may consider, depending on how much longer this goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I matter of fact, my barber and I don't know if he was kind of testing his customers or what, but he he put out a Facebook post,
Mm-hmm.
and he basically said, that there was a business that he supports,
Mm-hmm.
and that they've been down since this pandemic. So he said they were asking their customers to give like $5, to kind of help him out to continue his business.
Mm-hmm.
And so he basically ended it like, I wonder
Mm-hmm.
if my customers
Yeah.
would do something like this. And it I didn't doubt that the customers would, but you could see like he posted it, and probably within 5 to 10 minutes people were saying done. They had already sent him the funds and everything,
Mm-hmm. Wow.
like via Cash App or whatever. And so it's kind of interesting that, and like you said earlier, is that people had that genuine concern for you, that they're willing to help you. um and like you said, it could be somebody that you least expect,
Right.
that'll come out of nowhere and be like, hey, I know your business has been down, and I just want to give you something,
Right.
kind of help you out. But I was just curious, from a social media standpoint, um if that's something that you know you would even consider.
Mm.
you know
Yeah, I have had some customers reach out to me as far as do I need a fundraiser or something like that, and I just kind of told them thank you, but I'm good. But if it came down to it,
yeah,
yeah, if it came down to it, I'm not too proud. But
right.
yeah, but yeah, that's very interesting.
Yeah, and I believe your customers would step up and do that, because, like, I look at these infomercials sometime, and they're like, there's this item they're selling, and it's very cheap,
Hmm.
but if you think about it, if you get you know a certain amount of people to buy
Right.
it, you could be a millionaire. And I'm not saying try to promote something for you to be a
Right.
millionaire, but I'm just saying
Yeah.
that if you get somebody give you $5, and the next person or whatever, that could be something to help with your bills and different things, and to maintain your shop
Right.
while you're not getting the
Yeah.
business.
That's very true. Yeah.
Yeah,
Get a million people to
yeah.
give you $1.
Right, right, right. So we covered quite a bit of things that you've been doing as a small business owner to maintain. But which of those things, options appear to be helping you the most, though?
Um, I would say the just trying to keep in contact with people as much as possible and letting them know what's going on, and try to have a open line of communication with people.
Right,
I would say that has been basically was what has kind of kept things going so far. Just trying to keep people in the loop with what's going on. A lot of times I don't know what's
right,
going on, but but as I know, then they know. And as long as you kind of keep that open line of communication with them, then everything, kind of goes a little bit smooth. As even though the road is bumpy.
right.
Yeah.
Now, so I noticed that, and I don't know if you got this notification or not, but the uh, the electric people and the water people basically said you didn't have to worry about your stuff getting cut off.
Hmm.
You know, I don't know. Is that something that did you receive something like that said, hey, don't worry about
Yeah, I did.
you know?
Yeah,
Okay,
I did. I did.
okay,
Yeah. Yeah, and I definitely that definitely helped. Yeah.
right, yeah, because I think that's a big, you may have rent and stuff like that, and like you said, if you stay in communication with people, and which they already know what's going on, but at least you communicate with them, and you're not just sitting back saying, well, they know it, we're in a
Right.
pandemic, so
Yeah. Yeah, that's not too wise.
but yeah, but you reach out to them and you let them know that, hey, I haven't forgotten about
Right.
you, and hopefully you have somebody that is understanding during these
Right.
times that say, hey, don't worry about it. When you get it, just come see me or
Right.
whatever. But yeah, I was just curious because I received that and I was like, man, that's good, that they're at least during these times not gonna cut your power
Right.
off or
Right.
your water off, and because those things are
That's right.
essential. And you know what I'm saying? And then a lot of those offices, they're not open. And so if you if you have an issue, they like you to go to an
Right.
office and
Exactly.
yeah. So so that would definitely be tough, to have, those essential services turned off
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah. And I'm
Yeah.
very, very thankful
So
that they're done so,
yeah, so like one of the things I I I wanted to, and this is kind of a surprise
Okay.
question. Uh, have you had during this pandemic? Have you had your customers basically, are reaching out to you, and it's almost like you're not even in a pandemic, and it's like they want you to provide the service
Yes.
regardless.
Yes. Yeah. You actually see both sides of people. Situations like this bring out the best in people, and it bring out the worst. Because you
Right.
see where some people really don't care uh, about your well being. They just want to get their haircut, and uh,
Right.
it's like I said, you one on one side, it. Funny story, I had I had got it where I received a string of calls from people just concerned about getting a haircut, and
Right.
people wouldn't even ask me how I was doing or if I was okay. It
Uh-huh.
wouldn't even be like, are you healthy? Is everything okay? It's just I need my haircut. I'm looking bad, and
Right.
they're not worried about the fact that I'm not making money. You know,
Right.
none of that. They
Right.
don't want to ask if I'm sick, if how I'm feeling. It's just I need my haircut, and uh, then I had another person called, and when he called, I actually just ignored the call because I had so many people calling, just trying to get
Right.
haircuts, and didn't really care about what was going on with me personally. And so when
Right.
this particular person called, I just ignored the call, and the next day I called him back, and and uh, and he said, "Man, I was just calling to check on you, And he said if you need anything, just let me know. He's like, I'm not worried about no haircut or none of that. I just want to. So, yeah, yeah. I, I have
Okay.
seen I've seen both sides of things for sure.
So how? I mean, like, so we're in a pandemic situation, and it's interesting that you have a group of people that are basically like, I don't want to go nowhere. I don't want to do nothing. I just want to stay clear because I don't want to get this
Right,
virus. But then there's people who want to be out
right.
every day. They want to, you know, they don't care if it's going to the barbershop, going to the beauty
Mm-hmm.
shop or store,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. They have what they to them they say is
Right,
essential. That I got to get my hair cut, I got to get my hair
right,
done, whatever. And so they don't think about. Um, to me, they're not even thinking about their own
right.
health, and then the health of the person that's providing the
That's right.
service. Yeah, so I'm just interested, like, if you could talk to them face to face. We know we social distancing now, but if you could talk to them face to face, what would be your words to them? Um, Somebody who is like, I don't really. care about all this other stuff going on. I just want to get my hair done or get my hair cut.
Yeah, I would tell that person, you know, this is bigger than you. You know,
Right.
that's what I would tell that person. I said, this is bigger than you. You know, because you
Right.
not only got to think about you, but you also have to think about, you know, the other people that you come in contact with. You know, you got you got to think about your
Exactly.
family. You got to think about, you know, anybody that you're going to be in close contact with. Uh, when you feel like you just got to do these things, uh, and you're not even really in a position where you got to go a whole lot of places, and
Right.
but you got to
Right.
get your hair cut, you got to get your nails done, and we tend to be just thinking about self through the whole thing.
Right.
Is what I need. You know, I need to get this done. I need to get
Right.
that done. But you're not thinking about the other people that you come in contact with. But like I say,
Right.
I would tell them this is bigger than you, and you got to think
Right.
about more than just yourself. You got to think about your wife, your kids. You know, and
Right.
that's I have told a few people that because I was approached about house calls. You know, and I told them, I say, look, I say if it was just me, I said I would probably think about doing it, you know, even though it would be a risk, but it's more than me. I got a wife, I got children, you know, and I say
Right.
if I get sick and then I bring it home to them and then they get sick, you know, that's on me.
Right.
And being the head of a household, you know, I'm responsible for what happens in my house. So I, you know, I have
Right.
to think beyond myself.
That's interesting you brought that up because there have been some barbers
That's right. Yeah.
who have died, and I don't know, what their family situation was or whatever, but they're gone, and now whoever, their family member, wife, or whoever, they're not
That's right.
around
Yeah.
anymore. And it could have been worse where, the family receipt, got the
That's
virus
right.
as well. So it's a lot of things that, I know customers, and you hear people say it's all about the customer, but then sometimes there's situations where you you just can't
Yeah.
compromise, especially in
Yeah, that's
times
right.
like
Because
this.
you can't take the money
Yeah.
with you in the grave. You know,
No, no,
it's not gonna do
you
you any
can't.
good
Nope.
when you check out and leave here. So
So he was working on it. He was
yeah,
doing what he loved. But he was.
hey, I want to be around to continue doing what I love. So
All right, I just wanted to throw that one in there, but we'll get back on, get back to our questions here. But what options would you recommend to other small businesses to maintain and eventually be able to open their doors again?
uh, I would say you know, to seek out there are more funds available now that I've heard. That I guess there was just a bill signed here this past week that
Yes. Yes.
there's more money being put out there for small businesses, and I would advise anybody that's probably struggling to seek out some of that help. The first round of money went pretty fast, but there's another round, so I would say seek that help as quickly as possible, and don't delay. Um, you know, and then after getting back open and things, I think every business should probably have a some sort of plan in place um, for saving aside at least a month's worth of funds to be able to cover expenses for a situation like this. Yeah, a
Right.
lot of businesses are just running day to day, and people don't they
Right.
don't have extra money put aside. But I think after going through this, we should be able to look at things just a little bit differently.
I know you've been watching the news. So the state of Georgia last week basically said, "Hey, we're gonna
Hmm.
open back up." Now, something that I thought was interesting was there was some, barbers and, beauty shops or whatever that they decided to open, but they basically was, they only had a few people
Mm-hmm.
in there working. And then some cases they did
Mm-hmm.
the shifts. So is this something you would recommend to a small business to do during this time
Yes.
right now?
It's funny that you bring that up because that has always been for the last 4 years, maybe almost 5 years. That's been my business model anyway. Uh, I work on appointment only. It's just me in the shop, and most of the time I only have one to two people in the shop at any given time. So I'm thinking going forward, and until we kind of know that this virus is kind of dissipated, I think that's probably what people should practice is just setting appointments and trying to keep the crowd in the shop as limited as possible.
So from a sanitizing and what I mean, I'm quite sure most barbers and beauticians have been doing different things, but what are some things that maybe they hadn't been doing that you would recommend?
Uh, well, when this whole thing kicked off, they were talking about the washing your hands and things, and you'd be surprised, how many barbers don't wash their hands properly. Uh, yeah.
Right,
So yeah, some barbers don't clean their clippers and things like they need to. Yeah, you
okay,
know, that's important because when you're dealing with people, you're cutting around their nose and lips and places where
right,
those that moisture is that carries the bacteria. So yeah, you have to make sure you
right,
clean between every client. Make sure you wash your hands, and uh, and I already told somebody, going forward, um, even after I reopen, I'm still gonna use my mask. Uh, I'm still gonna use my
right.
gloves. And that's probably just gonna be something I'm just gonna do going forward. Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. So you kind of touched on the last question. So is what do you think um, you and other small business owners will change or implement to help your business thrive once the pandemic is over and into the future?
Yeah. As I said, more attention to the efforts to make sure that we don't get contaminated as far and that we don't contaminate others. I think that's going to be a big thing going forward. I think when people walk in, that's going to be the first thing that they're going to be looking for is seeing how clean your shop is, seeing if you're taking precautions, because they don't know if you're sick, So yeah, so I
Right.
think this whole situation has made people more aware of everything. People's eyes are open to more things now than they were before. So yeah, so I would
Okay.
say definitely that, just trying to make sure that your shop is clean and safe for everyone, you and the customer.
So, what about from a customer standpoint when they enter in? Is there anything you would have your customers to
Uh,
do?
well, first thing, and I've always told my customers, even before this came down, I was like, if you're not feeling well, I'll see you next time. You know, you know, I, I
Okay.
I
Okay.
I don't care if somebody canceled 2 minutes before the haircut if they're feeling sick.
Right.
That's
Right.
that's that's for my protection. But I would definitely probably try to encourage my customers when they come in to wash their hands. Uh, because they're
Right.
putting their hands on the armrests, they're grabbing the mirrors, they're all that kind of stuff. So, uh, I would definitely encourage them. Maybe I'll keep, give them a squirt of hand sanitizer instead of just using it for myself. I give them some. Yeah, just to try to
Right,
make
right,
sure
right,
that both sides, we're clean on both sides. Yeah.
right. And I know you don't have many people that are in the
Mhm.
shop at one time, but what about the cleaning of the waiting area? You know, like staying on top of that. So throughout the
Yeah, that's
day,
that's,
or
that's very important. And that's actually
yeah,
something that by law we're supposed to do anyway. There's never supposed to be, according to the state law, there's never supposed to be two people's hair on the floor at any given time. So yeah, so
right,
so you're always supposed to sweep up
okay,
between every cut. I know a lot of people don't do that. Yeah, I know a lot
right,
of people don't do that. Some
yeah,
barbers have a whole day worth of hair on the floor. Uh, but yeah, that's
okay,
something that need to be given the most attention. Is making sure that waiting area is clean, because as I said, people gonna walk in and they gonna look around, and if your shop look like it's dirty, you're not gonna have that business. That people are gonna turn around, even if they stay and get that first haircut, they won't be
hmm
back. So, yeah, yeah.
right. So you had brought up about when you're using the clippers and you're doing
Mhm.
somebody's mustache or you know the hairs in their nose or whatever. And is there anything to educate the yourself and the customer as well when they have to get a shave or whatever um, during their visit?
You say educate.
Yeah, just let them know that hey, I've this is what I'm using to make sure
Oh
you're
yeah, yeah,
protected.
most definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know a lot of customers. They're kind of hip to that. So when they usually come in, they look for that kind of thing. Uh, but like you said, like going forward, it's not a bad idea to tell people what you're doing. I
Yeah.
one habit that I developed over the years. Um, I used to would after I would cut a customer, I I knew somebody else was coming, I would put the new blade in the holder before they got there, um, so that to cut down on time. But as I went forward, I noticed that a lot of people would be checking to see if I changed the blade, and then some would say,
Okay.
is that a new blade?" And I would tell them yes,
Right.
but a lot of people want to see you change the blade. So yeah, so I
Right.
made it a habit to, I would take the blade out of the package, crack the blade, put the blade in the holder right in front of the customer. Then that way, you're getting a new
Okay.
blade. Yeah, yeah. People, like I say,
Okay. Okay.
people just want to know is that they're safe, and that you're not cutting corners, because you'd be surprised. Sometimes people will reuse blades. Uh, they won't have the proper
Right.
supplies and things to clean their clippers, and they'll just put people's
Hmm.
health in jeopardy. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So so we kind of covered the sanitizing and that aspect of it, but from a
Hmm.
financial standpoint, going forward and gauging everything by what you've experienced, um how would you say you or what could you put in place to basically have maybe 6 months that you can survive for 6 months if something like this happened
Um.
again?
Yeah, like I said, the funds are being made available by the government, so I would suggest getting those funds and then putting aside, because there's a lot of money that they're
Okay.
offering businesses. Uh, and so maybe put aside,
Okay.
6 months. Or if you can't do 6 months, put aside a month and then make a savings plan, because you gotta one thing I tell barbers and things, you gotta keep records of what you're making. and what you're spending. You know,
Right.
you need to know what's coming in and what's going
Right.
out, and then you can kind of, make a calculation to take a certain percentage of the money that you make and put it aside. And you could use that to build up a hedge fund just in case something like this does happen. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And so, what about multiple
Oh,
streams of
definitely,
income, though?
definitely. Yeah, I've always been a proponent of
Yeah.
that. You need to have more than one thing going on. So yeah, I
Right.
definitely agree with that. Uh, maybe sell snacks, maybe sell T-shirts, maybe sell whatever. Whatever you know how to sell. You could sell it right there in the shop, and
Right.
but that extra money that you make off of that extra sale doesn't just go, to the mall or or wherever that you're trying to go spend money at. You need to actually set it aside and use that as far as a hedge
Okay.
fund for your business. Yeah.
Right. So, um, I don't know. Maybe I missed it or something. But I've never seen one. But have you ever seen a mobile barber? So basically, a vehicle that is set up with a chair
I
or
ha-
chairs in it.
I have
Have
seen
you
some
ever
on
seen
social
something
media.
like that?
I've never seen any in the state of
Okay.
Florida. I don't know if the state of Florida allows that. I know every state is different, uh, but
Okay.
I personally think it's a great idea.
And the only reason I bring it up because it is something that as long as you are doing all the necessary
Hmm.
sanitizing things that you need to do, and also your customers are buying into that too, making sure that if they definitely at this time if they got any kind of
That's right.
symptoms, no, don't
Right.
even don't even bother.
Right.
I'm not coming, you know. But I was just thinking just of another way to still
Right.
have some monies coming in. Yeah, so maybe may not be something you do all the time, but it's something that especially in a situation like this, that you could possibly
Yes. Most
utilize.
definitely. Most definitely.
Because that just like with your own home and stuff and your own bills and stuff, they always say you need to try to at least
Hmm.
have 6 months of savings or whatever that you could cover just in
Right.
case something happened. And and I think a lot of people don't do it. I think we all struggle with that.
Yeah.
we when it comes to saving. But times like this let you see, like, wow, man,
Right.
when I was spending money on this and that, going eating out all the time and all this, I could have been putting some money,
Right.
to the
Yeah, because
side.
I mean,
You know,
as people in
but
general, we get so comfortable until we just feel like can't nothing happen to us, and a situation like
right,
this, didn't nothing happen to us, but something happened to the world, you know, and it
right,
changed the world we live
exactly,
in. So, so it's not even so much
right.
about what happened to you as much as what happened, to the world that you're living in.
And you can see where businesses are reevaluating, like having
Hmm.
a building, because a lot of businesses are finding out, oh, we can
Right.
actually have people work from home, and we won't have to pay all this money to maintain this building and all the power and water
Right.
and all that stuff to go along with it. We wouldn't have to do that. So I think all of this that is going on, businesses as a whole is really looking at how they can save money and still be able to continue their business. So that's why I wanted to ask you, like, and I know you were in a specific field business field, but just, like going forward, what are some things that, you'll start looking at, like, hey, I may need to implement this in my business, and I may not need it now, but at least I have it as a
Right.
service option or whatever
Right.
in times like this. Yeah. So, but I would like for you to have the last saying. If you will, any words of encouragement to other small business owners, or just anything you would like to
Yeah, I would
share.
just say, just hold on. Definitely trust in God. This is a difficult time. It's a different time. Uh, it's something we never seen before, and a lot of people right now don't know what to do, who to turn to, who to put their hope in. But as far as I'm concerned, my hope and my trust is in the Lord Jesus, and he's gonna get me through this, and he'll get you through. We have to keep our head up. We got to think positive. Uh, we gotta not let negativity settle in our minds, because once you do that, the battle is already lost. Uh, so we definitely have to
Right.
keep our head up, and look to the hill, and keep our hope in God.
Man, I really appreciate you joining, man. I was super excited. I was really looking forward to doing this podcast with you. But this has been great. A lot of information, and I'm glad that you are maintaining and like you said, trusting in God, and that's what we all got to do. And I just want to let you know that there's anything I can do to help. Feel free to reach out to me, and I help you in any way I
Man,
can.
I
But I
truly
appreciate you
appreciate the
joining.
opportunity. I'm glad to be here, and maybe one day, maybe I might get an opportunity to come back on another topic.
All right, and want to encourage all our listeners to join us for another episode of Fred Speaks. Thanks.